Welcome in, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hi, Erica. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hi, Mallory. Hi, Maria. Hey, Justin. Hi, Lemons. Hi, Jennifer. How's everybody doing? Hi, Christina. Hi, Christina. What you doing, Yanni? Oh, hi, Nicole and Lindsay and Lauren and Courtney. Guys, those are my high school besties. Hi, cuties. I hope you guys had fun today. I'm sad I couldn't make it. But I'll see you guys in September. Thanks for coming to say hi, Yanni. I was wondering Oh, you are? Yeah, thanks. I was wondering if you were going to come say hi because you did at the bachelorette party too. And I was like, I wonder if Yanni's going to stop in and say hi. Skrilla said how many of them had subwoofers. I've told them all about our friends, y'all. And how many of us did have subwoofers? A lot. Hi, Lost Sister. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Robin. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh, that's okay, Yanni. I know you were getting your stuff all prepared. Plus, we were just blabbing anyway. I didn't have any news. Hi, Drew. Good morning. Or wait, you're still up, huh? Because it's like, what time is it? Like 3 in the morning in the UK? Hi, Drew. How's England? Hi, Chedsy. Hi, Skrilla. Hi, Florida Trucker. Hey, Natalie. Hi, Leslie. Welcome in, guys. If you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts the live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Thank you, Natalie. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And thank you for all the tappers out there tapping the screen. It is free and it helps us get pushed out every 10K taps. Feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters. Merlin's actually in here tonight, Rachel. He's sleeping right next to me. Feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters. I'll write them down and then we will vote. And it is Silly Story Title Saturday. Mwah. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. James, I'm so proud of you. You quoted Waka Flocka as your silly story. James, I'm so proud. That's awesome, Peter. How's it been going? Beefy. Beefy, which story? Wait, I never mind. I think I just figured it out. Is that your request? Also, welcome in to those of you tuning in on YT as well, on the tube of you. Hi, Nick. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Cassie. I gotta write the story that Christina's in. I think only one of us had subwoofers in this room. Wait, who? Which one? And Christina, I gotta write your story down. That's my request. Gotta add it to the list. That's a funny one, Lady Rose. Hey, Seuss, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Christina, you wrote it out. Oh, Lindsay's there. I didn't see that you said Lindsay's there. Duh. I wouldn't even asked if I knew Lindsay was there. Duh. Okay. All right, you guys, feel free to keep writing your story requests. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. Hi, Brian. Welcome in. Hi, Rachel. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep better. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 or 1:30 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you want on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you'll find me. I also have the links in my bio if you can't find them. And I will be right back with the first poll. That's okay, Robin. You don't have to think of silly names. If you guys feel like giving one out, that's totally fine. But if not, just write out your story request and you can leave the silly names to me, because as you guys know, I'm really good at it. Oh, is that your request, Brian? I think I know which one that is. Are you talking about Sasquatch? I love how I know I speak your language. You said, thank you for the cozy cryptids, Brian. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Get comfy. I'll be right back with the first poll for us to vote. Happy Saturday. All right, you guys, the first poll is ready. And just a reminder. Oh, wait, sorry, 1 second. Just kidding. All right, the poll is ready. And just a reminder, it is Silly Story Title Saturday. So these are not the real story titles. They're silly. And we've got One Way to Churro Town. Hard in the Paint. Oh Lord, she coming. Mr. Poopy Paws. And don't panic, okay? Who's it gonna be? You guys can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner if you are on TikTok. And if you're on YT, let us know which one if you want to vote. And the amazing Justin will help you guys out. Who's it gonna be? One way to Churro Town. Hard in the paint. Oh Lord, she's coming. Mr. Poopy Paws. And don't panic. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Thank you, Rachel. Is the poll showing up for you guys? Because like nobody's voting. Is it showing up okay? Oh, never mind. Okay, now the votes are showing up. I was just going to say, because sometimes it doesn't show up for you guys. I was like, is it glitching? Because you know how sometimes, okay, good. Because you know how sometimes it doesn't show up. Leo, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. You can vote up to 50 times and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it gonna be? And that's okay, Bed of Dust. Everybody does it. I do it all the time in Kim's live. No worries at all. Hi, Possum. Firelight, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Yeah, Jennifer, you just guess for whichever one sounds good. If you can't figure them out, just guess for whichever one you think sounds the best. Oh, it ended. Thank you so. Isn't the otter adorable? Thank you, Iacona. Happy Saturday. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Eric. All right, you guys. And the winner is One Way to Churro Town, featuring the one and only Skrilla. I'll be right back with that story. And Beefy made up that title. Which is just so funny. Yeah, Skrilla, your story won. Can we mark this day down? Yeah, Justin, which story did you think it would be? Which story did you think it would be? All right, guys, be right back with One Way to Churro Town. Get comfy. Happy Saturday. Justin, it's because Skrilla's Mexican. Justin said, I don't remember churros in that story. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Iacona. Skrilla. Is there a bad half? Thank you, Leo's Painting. Welcome in. All right, guys, welcome in. I'm going to pull up the next story. If you guys could do me a favor while I'm doing that and hit that share arrow. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts the live into your friends' FYPs and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. I'll be right back. Cody, that would be a lot in one line. Hi, Luigi. Nope, I'm just streaming on multiple sites, so I have to pull up the backgrounds on all of those. So I'm not doing any of those fun things. Sorry. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Devil's Highway. Thank you, Sherry. Love ya. Hi, Rogue Rage. Thanks for the drive-by support. Love ya. See you later. Most people know it as Route 666, the Devil's Highway. Technically, it no longer exists. In 2003, the stretch of highway running through parts of New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah was officially renumbered to US 491. Hi, Ange. The official explanation was safety improvements and route restructuring. But nobody who grew up around the highway believed that story. That's hilarious, Cody. That's such a good idea. Holy shit. The old highway had earned a reputation long before the number changed. Truckers claimed they encountered a massive black sedan that appeared out of nowhere, driving impossibly fast before simply disappearing. Others reported being chased by a pitch-black vehicle with no license plate and no visible driver. There were stories of phantom semi-trucks that barreled directly toward oncoming traffic before vanishing inches before impact. The older stories came from people who lived near the highway. They described seeing cattle gathered silently along the roadside, not grazing, just staring. Entire herds standing perfectly still for miles. Others claimed to encounter unnaturally aggressive animals that refused to move out of the road. Ranchers occasionally spoke about livestock found mutilated under strange circumstances, feeding rumors that something darker wandered the desert after sunset. And then there were the stories that never even made the newspapers. People disappearing after pulling over. Abandoned vehicles with the doors hanging wide open. Drivers who insisted they had mysteriously lost hours of time on that road. Now, whether those accounts were true or not didn't really matter, because Route 666 had become one of those places where every strange thing that happened was absorbed into its mythology until the road became an entity itself. Now, I had never even heard of the road until Ben, also known as Scarella, He casually mentioned it to me because he knows that I love the spooky and unexplained. And as someone whose love for the open road runs deep, I knew I had to cruise that stretch of asphalt for myself. And I was hoping to drag Ben along with me. Neither of us really believed in cursed highways, but we thought it would make for a fun weekend. We crossed into northwestern New Mexico just after lunch. Thanks, Sherry. The landscape slowly emptied until there was almost nothing left except tan mesas, dry washes, weathered fences, and endless sky. It was beautiful. It always seemed like in horror movies, they exaggerated how isolated places like this felt. But they didn't. You could drive for hours without seeing another vehicle. Every now and then we'd pass faded memorial crosses planted alongside the road. 1 became 5. 5 became 20. Ben finally pointed out what I had been thinking. There were an alarming number of memorials on this highway. And the road itself wasn't difficult to drive. Long, straight stretches, gentle hills, good visibility. Nothing about it explained why there had been so many tragedies on this lone stretch of road. Near sunset, we spotted what looked like a scenic turnout overlooking a shallow canyon. We pulled in to get out and stretch our legs, and I immediately noticed the silence. No insects, no birds, even the breeze seemed absent. Ben looked over the edge of the overlook while I wandered toward a weathered wire fence running along the edge. And that's when I noticed the cattle. Maybe 30 of them, spread across the desert below. None of them were eating. None of them were lying down. Every single one of them was facing us. I pointed them out to Ben, and he laughed at first, but then his smile disappeared when he realized they weren't moving. Not one flicking an ear, not one swishing its tail. Hi, lovely. Okay, see you later. It looked like someone had paused reality. We stood there for nearly a minute. Finally, Ben shrugged and headed back toward the truck. Thanks, Robin. The moment his hand touched the driver's side door, every cow turned at exactly the same time. Like dozens of mannequins rotating together. Instead of looking at us, they were now looking at something behind us. Ben slowly lowered his hand from the door handle and I turned around. I looked and there was nothing there. So I ran back over to the overlook and I looked down to see that all of the cattle were gone. The entire field was empty. What the actual... Ben came running over to me and firmly grabbed my hand and sternly said, "Devin, respectfully, get your ass back in the truck." Fair enough. I listened. He was right. My self-preservation instincts aren't the best. Neither of us said another word until we were back on a paved highway. No more scenic overlooks for us. Darkness settled fast, and the GPS estimated another hour before we'd reach our motel. About 20 minutes later, we rounded a bend and saw something standing in the middle of the road. Thanks, Robin. At first, I thought it was an elk or maybe a horse. But as we got closer, I realized it was far too broad to be either. Aw, thanks. Thanks, Viking. Appreciate you. Ben slowed down to almost a crawl as we got closer to it. And the animal didn't move. And then we could see clearly that it was a bull, an enormous black bull. Its horns stretched so wide, they nearly reached both lane markings. It wasn't wandering, it was just staring perfectly square in the center of our lane. Thank you, Robin, that's so cute. Ben gently honked the horn. Nothing. It simply stared directly at us through the windshield. Ben muttered that we needed to go around, but there wasn't much shoulder. But there seemed to be just enough to squeeze by. Ben slowly steered to the left. And the bull turned its head and followed us like it was tracking us. We edged further around it, and when my window came alongside its shoulder, I could finally grasp how massive it really was. Its back was almost level with the hood. Thank you, universe. Then Ben accelerated and we cleared it. Both of us instantly looked in our side mirrors, and there was no bull anywhere in sight. Thank you, Proud Army Mom. There was just empty pavement for miles. We both just looked at each other and laughed like, are we tripping right now? And if we are, at least we're going through this together. Thank you, Alina. Neither of us spoke for a while after that, our heads spinning with the surreal experience we had just had. Justin, you're right. Like, thanks, universe. Then, Ben finally broke the silence. He just said, "We actually saw that, right?" I nodded in disbelief, and then I scooted over and I leaned my head on his shoulder. And we just rode for a while in silence. When you go through something unexplainable with someone, you turn to each other for comfort to help each other not feel so insane. Thank you, Robin. It creates a special bond. About 30 minutes later, the truck lurched and the steering wheel jerked violently. Flat tire, great. Ben managed to pull onto the shoulder without rolling the rim. Skillfully, I might add. Neither of us were thrilled about changing a tire in complete darkness, but we didn't really have a choice. Thank you, Deborah. Ben grabbed the jack and I held my inadequate flashlight. Thank goodness he knows how to change a tire because I do not. Yeah. Then we realized that the tire wasn't punctured. It had been shredded. Thank you, Viking. Thanks, Robin. There were long parallel cuts, almost as though someone had dragged giant claws around the sidewall. Ben crouched lower and pointed underneath the truck. There were footprints, not human, 4 toes with long claws. But they didn't approach the truck. That's what made no sense. The prints began directly under the rear axle. Ben quickly got the spare tire put on, and we both climbed back inside. Then he tried starting the engine, and nothing. Again, nothing. The truck wouldn't start. But the dashboard lights remained on, and so the battery seemed fine. And then something bumped the underside of the truck. Not hard, just enough to make the floor vibrate a little. Good night, Viking. Then another bump closer to my door. And then another. Something was moving around us. And whatever it was stayed below the windows so we couldn't see it. We could only hear it scraping against the frame. Ben leaned over and made sure my door was locked, and we both huddled together in the middle of the truck seat as far from the windows as possible. Neither of us took the eyes off our windows and minutes passed, but it felt like hours. Then I noticed movement in the passenger mirror. Something low and black running alongside the truck. It disappeared before I could focus on it. A second later, it flashed past Ben's mirror and then mine again. And it kept staying below the window level deliberately, like it knew exactly where we couldn't see it. The truck rocked once and twice, hard enough to make the suspension creak. Ben whispered that whatever was outside was trying to tip us. The third shove lifted my side several inches. I heard gravel sliding underneath. Another hit, stronger. This time the truck actually shifted. And then we heard breathing directly beneath our feet, like something enormous had crawled underneath and stopped to catch its breath. Then the jack, which Ben had accidentally left outside, suddenly flew out from underneath us and disappeared into the darkness. It didn't roll, it was thrown. We both saw it. And then as suddenly as it began, everything stopped. The breathing, the pressure, the rocking. Then it was just absolute silence. Ben turned the key in the ignition one more time, and the engine started instantly, as though there had never been anything wrong. We both smiled at each other, chuckled as he pressed the gas, and we hauled ass out of there. We didn't stop again until we reached civilization. I have no idea what we experienced out there in the desert. But I can't help but wonder if somewhere out there, on the lonely stretches of the highway once known as Route 666, another traveler is slowing down tonight after spotting something standing silently in the road, trying to decide if what they're seeing is perfectly ordinary or the beginning of the next story someone will tell about Route 666, the Devil's Highway. And that's the tale of the Devil's Highway. Also known tonight as One Way to Churro Town. Thank you, Iacona. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Peter. Thanks, Yaya. Oh, Robin sent corn. Thank you, Universe, for the caterpillar. All right, you guys, welcome in. My name's Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Yes, I did. I saw that, Fairy Witch. I do write and record all of these myself, so if you would like to listen to them whenever you want, thanks, Ange. You can listen to them on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you'll find me. Oh, Cody, you can email your personal stories to submit to porchlore@gmail.com. Welcome back, Ariel. We've missed you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you, Mandy. I'm glad you liked that one. I really liked it too. I learned a lot while researching that one. All right, you guys, I will be right back. Brian, you're still in here? I'm honored. Did you fall asleep? It's past your bedtime. Oh, wait, but it's Saturday. It's Saturday. Brian's being a rebel. Is your wife out of town, Brian? I feel like when his wife goes out of town, he stays up a little bit later. All right, you guys, grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. I am going to set up the next poll for us to vote. It is Silly Story Title Saturday. And if you guys could do me a favor while I'm setting up that poll, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other, and it says repost. And that puts the live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And I do think Brian is asleep because he didn't respond. That makes me so happy. I got him to fall asleep. Aw, Bri guy. All right, be right back. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ange. Thanks, Iacona. Thanks, Don. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have, it's Silly Story Title Saturday, by the way, so don't forget. These are not the real titles. And if you don't know the titles, you can just guess. You can just pick which one sounds funny or which one you think. That's kind of the fun of it, is it's kind of like it's just a kind of a blind guess. Makes it fun. So we have lights, camera, bye-bye. We have harden the paint. Oh, thanks, Booth. We have the hall from hell. We have I know what you did last winter. And we have don't panic. Exactly, Melly. Story roulette. I like that. All right, you guys can vote in the top left-hand corner. There is a blue box. You can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. We have lights, camera, bye-bye. We have harden the paint. We have the hall from hell. And we have I Know What You Did Last Winter and Don't Panic. I know, Skrilla. I know. You can thank Beefy for that name too. He came up with it. And Justin was like, that's the story, which means Justin voted for that one and didn't realize it was your story. Justin said, it's true. Aunt Shashi, that's cute. Hi, Lori. Melly, no, we go hard in the paint here, girl. Melly said it's true. I saw it written on the bathroom stall. Thank you, Cannonball. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you're here. And the winner is The Hall from Hell. And I'll be right back with that story. Happy Saturday. Thank you to everybody tapping the screen and sharing it out. Love you guys. Be right back. Yes, Justin, exactly. Thank you, Proud Army Mom. And those are so cute. Thank you, Songbird. I love the laughing gifts, Proud Army Mom. Those are adorable. Thank you so much. Yes, Cody, I loved it. Of course, Ange. Thanks for inviting me. She was amazing. You guys, I went to Ange's daughter's recital tonight, and she's an aerial performer. And holy shit, she was amazing. She was like a little goddess. She's so strong. Like, you know how much strength it takes to do that stuff? And she's just flying around in that ring like it was nothing. Nothing. It was I'm still in awe. I almost cried, and she's not even my kid. I was so proud of her. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. It was amazing. Like, Angie's daughter's amazing. I know. And Angie didn't even really like hype her up or anything. She was just like, you want to come? And then she was not like, oh, my daughter is literally the best one there. She opened the show. Her daughter, like, and it was all ages. And her daughter opened the show. And she was incredible. And I'm not even just saying that because she's Angie's daughter. She's only 10, and it was unreal. The control she had and the strength, and it was just amazing. Like, I would not be surprised if she becomes a professional, because like, holy moly. I know. So shout out to Ange for being a cool mom that let her daughter try something that's kind of outside of the box, and your daughter is amazing at it. It's so cool. So cool. I thought it was just going to be a dance recital, and then I get there and it's like aerial dance. I'm like, this is amazing. It was so cool. It was so cool. All of them were amazing. All of them were so good, but she was really good. She was really good. Anyway, be right back. And this is the kind of friend I am too. Just like Ange drove to see me for Pizza Palooza, she drove like an hour there and an hour back to hang out with me for like an hour. I did the same thing. I drove like an hour there to hang out for an hour, and then I drove an hour home. But that's what you got to do when your friend lives an hour away, you know? Billy, I think the real question is, do you have an attention span that you need to work on? Seems like you do. You're in the perfect place for it, because we work on developing patience instead of doom scrolling and demanding that people provide entertainment for us as soon as we scroll in. So, you're in the perfect place to work on that. Welcome. Exactly, Mally. Scroll. That's apparently what you said I was doing the other day. Hi, Dallas. Cannonball said literally foreplay. Oh, thank you, Delphi. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the White Witch of Rose Hall. Exactly, Delphi. And if it is for those people, there is a place where they all live. Street Society, thank you for your first gift ever. I'm honored. And Josh, thank you for the adorable otter. And Gail, thank you. And No Quarter, thank you so much. And A-Ray, thank you. This story is about my trip to Jamaica. About the beauty of the island, the warmth of the people, and something else. Something darker. This is my encounter with the White Witch of Rose Hall. It was last summer, and I had been feeling untethered, I guess. Life had been a whirlwind of stress and disappointment after disappointment. And if I'm being honest, I just needed to escape, to breathe, to find myself again. So, I booked a trip to Jamaica. And not one of those all-inclusive resorts where you're surrounded by tourists sipping pina coladas by the pool. No. I wanted something immersive, something authentic, something real. I found a little guest house in Montego Bay, run by a local family. It was nestled on the edge of the jungle, surrounded by towering palms, banana trees, and flowering hibiscus. The air was thick with the scent of salt from the ocean, and the sweet, heady perfume of tropical blooms filled the breeze. It felt like stepping into a dream world. The family who ran the guest house was incredible. Miss Clara, the matriarch, was this tiny, feisty woman with a voice like warm molasses and a laugh that could light up the darkest room. She had this way of making you feel like family the moment you walk through the door. And her cooking was out of this world. Jerk chicken so tender it fell off the bone, Justin. And saltfish that tasted like home. And fresh mangoes so sweet, they made your teeth ache. Every evening we'd sit on the porch, sipping sorrel drink or coconut water straight from the shell. And she'd tell us stories. Stories about the island's history, about the spirits that lived in the trees, and about the legends that have been passed down for generations. And that's how I first heard about Annie Palmer, the White Witch of Rose Hall. Miss Clara told us about how Annie was this beautiful and cruel woman who lived in the 1800s at Rose Hall, a grand plantation house up in the hills. They said her spirit still haunted the house and that she'd appear to visitors, her pale skin glowing in the moonlight, her eyes burning with hatred. I I laughed it off at first. I figured it was just a spooky tale to scare tourists. But Miss Clara gave me this look like she knew something that I didn't. And she told me that some stories are more than just stories. But I didn't think much of it at the time. I was too busy falling in love with Jamaica. The island is, God, it's breathtaking. The jungle is so alive, so dense and green, with vines hanging from the trees like curtains and birds calling to each other in the canopy. I'd walked for hours picking mangoes, guavas, and star apples straight from the tree, their juice sticky and sweet on my fingers. The locals would wave as I pass, calling out greetings in that musical Jamaican patois. It felt like paradise. But then one day, I decided to visit Rose Hall. I had heard about the tours they offered where you could just walk through the old plantation house and hear the history of the place. I love history, so I figured it would be interesting and a little taste of the island's past. But I didn't expect it to be what it was. It really is rich, isn't it? The plantation only had one tour left for the day. Thank you, Tara. So I signed up for that one and I hopped onto a bus with several other people. There were probably about 12 of us total. The drive up to Rose Hall was stunning. Hi, Voodoo Daddy. The road wound through the hills, past fields of sugarcane and clusters of brightly painted houses. Hi, Gina. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers. And when we finally reached the house, I was struck by how imposing it was. It was this grand white structure perched on a hill overlooking the ocean, with tall white columns and wide verandas. It was beautiful, but there was something about the energy there that made my skin crawl. The tour guide was this cheerful woman with a bright smile and a voice that carried through the halls. She told us all about the history of the house, about Annie Palmer and her reign of terror. Hi, Lauren. She showed us the rooms where Annie had supposedly practiced her dark magic, the dungeons where she tortured her slaves, and the spot where she was buried. It was really unsettling, and I kept feeling like somebody was watching me. But we were the only tour group there, and there was no one else on the property. After the tour ended, we were told that we had a quick break. So everyone from the group dispersed. Thank you, Lucifer. To hit the restrooms, eat some snacks, and walk around the property. Everyone else in the group seemed to at least be in pairs. I seemed to be the only solo one. Story of my life. So I decided to explore the grounds on my own. Cody. The sun was starting to set, casting long shadows across the lawn. Thank you, Lucifer. And the air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers. I could stay here forever. I wandered down a path that led to the jungle, the trees closing in around me. It was quiet except for the sound of my footsteps and the occasional rustle of leaves. Through the lush undergrowth, I saw something that looked almost like ruins of an old building. Stones or something. And for those of you who don't know, I minored in archaeology in college, and I'm a little obsessed with anything that has to do with finding artifacts, remnants of the past, anything like that. So, I kneel down and I start to move the foliage out of the way so I can see what's underneath. And then I realize what I'm seeing. 2 rows of evenly spaced out fieldstones. Fieldstones were often used to mark burials of the enslaved on plantations. I think I just found the cemetery of the enslaved people who live here. Oh my God. I have to tell somebody. Beefy. By the looks of it and all of the overgrowth, nobody knew it was here. Oh, there's a treasure box. Upper left corner, treasure box alert. It was starting to get dark now, so I ran back to the trail and toward the plantation to alert the tour guide of what I've just found. But, to my horror, the tour bus was gone. Everyone was gone. The group had left me at Rose Hall Plantation alone. And now, the sun was almost completely set and it was dark. This is the jungle. I'm not walking miles back to the guest house in the pitch black jungle. So, I managed to get the back door to the kitchen of the plantation house open, and I was able to take shelter inside for the night. The house was so grand. A little spooky, but surprisingly cozy. And I felt safe and protected from the creepy, wild sounds of the jungle at night. I finished the last granola bar I had in my backpack, and I laid down on one of the fainting couches to go to sleep until morning. And then I'd walk back. Just as I started to doze off, I smelled a strong, sweet floral smell, and I felt a cold breeze brush across my face. I opened my eyes, and that's when I saw her. She was wearing a white dress, the fabric flowing around her like smoke. And her skin, it was so pale it looked like she was glowing. Her hair was dark, cascading down her back. And her eyes, they were black, and they were fixed on me. I sat straight up and I froze. Thank you, Boss Richard. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. She didn't move, she just stood there watching me with those empty eyes, exactly like Rose. And then she smiled. But it was not a friendly smile. It was cruel, twisted like she knew something that I didn't. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I was just rooted, staring at her. And then she took one slow step toward me. And then she spoke. Her voice was low, but it carried through the air like a knife. You shouldn't be here. This is my home. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to leap off that fainting couch and run. I didn't look back. I just ran as fast as I could out the back door and down that long, winding driveway. My feet slipping on the wet leaves, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I didn't stop running until I was all the way back to the guest house, collapsing on the porch. Miss Clara found me laying there, shaking and pale, and she didn't even ask what happened. She just handed me a cup of tea and sat beside me with her hand on my shoulder and said, "You saw her." I nodded quietly, too shaken to even speak, as she explained to me that some spirits, they don't rest easy. That night, I told Miss Claire about the graves of the enslaved people that I thought I had discovered at Rose Hall. She jumped up and got on the phone, and the next morning, we met with the head of the Historical Society and a few government officials as I led them to the spot. I left Jamaica the next day. I couldn't stay, not after what I had seen. 2 months later, I received a phone call. Lucifer. Thank you. That's so funny. Thank you. It's not going to approve it, but thank you, Lucifer. He said this lady could read the contents of a dead body's stomach and I would listen. 2 months later, I received a phone call. It was Miss Clara. She told me they sent archaeologists out there who had confirmed that it was in fact the missing graveyard of the enslaved people who had lived at Rose Hall. I like to think that their spirits are already at peace. But as for Annie Palmer, the White Witch of Rose Hall, we know her spirit is not at rest, and it probably never will be. And that's the story of the White Witch of Rose Hall. And Cannonball, I noticed you said it sounds like your ex-wife. You're lucky it's not, because she unalived all 4 of her husbands. That's right. She unalived she's a real person. She unalived all 4 of her husbands. And the first one, she was married to him for 6 years and then unalived him. The second one, she was married to him for 6 months. And she was like, that's it. No. And then she literally proceeded to, and the way she did it was absolutely psychotically, like she was one of the first serial unalivers that they think, besides Madame Lalaurie. She was a serial unaliver. And she did the same thing to the enslaved people who lived at her home. And she was a horrible, horrible person. Horrible, sadistic, psychotic woman. And we joke a lot about how it's always men, but I will say this is a one time when one of the most horrific unalivers of all time was a woman, and it was Annie Palmer. Give her a goog. And here's the craziest thing is back then, the patriarchy also doesn't always benefit men, because they have this idea that women could never, right? And so this woman unalived 4 of her husbands, and they never once pointed a finger at her. Because men's egos were like, no, a woman could never do this. It's got to be a man. And they literally just let her continue to unalive her husbands because they could not imagine that a woman could do it. And that is hilarious to me, but also crazy. And she was a maniac. And so she was a real person, and she was Lucifer. She was a horrible person. And thanks, Cannonball. I research all this stuff. So, and we watched the video of a tour of her mansion, thanks to Lady Rose, who recommended it, at Kim's live one day. Probably Skrilla. Skrilla said she was possessed by a man spirit. Probably. But yeah, oh my God, really? Motormouth Mandy? I love your name, by the way. I'm a Motormouth too. But yeah, and one of the ways, if you guys give it a goog, one of the ways is Kim in here right now? Lady Rose, do you remember for sure? Can you confirm? One of the ways she unalived her husband was she poured hot wax into his brain. Isn't that right, Lady Rose? There we go, Kim. Yep. Hot oil. Okay. Her third husband. Kim goes, yep. Hot oil. And it made his brain explode, correct? Out of his ears. Beefy said they probably deserved it. What were they wearing? Oh, I love that comment. Yep, she poured hot oil in his ears and his head exploded. So this chick wasn't just like offing them in a normal way. And his blood that blew out of his ears from the inside of his head is still on the wall. It stained the wall forever. Yep. Yeah. So give her a goog. She was a monster. Lucifer said, wait, ma'am, you could be cutting my nipples off, and if you were talking, I wouldn't even know. Well, thank you, Lucifer. My goodness. And I would never cut your nipples off. Motormouth, Mandy, thanks for the clover. Miriam, thanks for the otter. But yeah, so, Brooke, I know. So yeah, the oil one really, to me, I was like, Jesus. Like, whoa. Because that's not like, I don't know, that's some crazy, that's something else. That's, yeah. And she had like a dungeon where she tortured the enslaved people, and she was just a really big piece of shit. So, there you go. Annie Palmer. Some background info. Watching what, Skrilla? Hi, LK. Brooke. I just accidentally gave Brooke ideas. She just said, I don't know why I never thought of the oil. Like, Brooke, oh God. No, the reason she was called the White Witch, Fairy Witch, is she was not a witch really at all. She was called that because she's a white biatch. And they called her the White Witch because she was very pale and she was evil as shit. And she abused people of color. And they called her a White Witch because she was, because she was a white woman who was a witch. She was a horrible person. So that's actually where that nickname came from. She was not, we don't claim her. She is not a witch. We do not claim her. She's not a witch. She was a serial unaliver. Yeah, and Rachel's been there, so is Anthony, and they have both had experiences with her. Anthony saw her when he was 8 years old with his grandmother in Jamaica, and that's how he found my life. He was scrolling through, and I was reading that story. Yeah, so messed up. Oh, yeah, over 100. Thank you guys for all the likes. So anyway, just sometimes I like to throw in background because if I covered all of it, my stories would literally be like the unexplained ones every single time. My stories would be like 30 minutes long. But sometimes I just like to give some extra background, and this lady was a bitch. And you know what? You want to hear the best part? Does he have toilet paper in the nose right now? Probably. Where is Anthony? Is he still in here? Probably not, or we would have known his nose was bleeding by now. But you were 13 when you saw her, Rachel? That's crazy. But yeah, yeah, Cody, for sure. So also the thing when she finally passed away, and they confirmed that because she also passed away on the property, and when they finally confirmed, because obviously one of her enslaved servant, had to come, obviously discover her, and they went out and told everybody. Oh, she was? Okay, perfect. Yep. So she was unalived by an enslaved man. And then when they found out that she was actually gone, they burned all of her possessions. So there's like hardly anything of hers in the house because it's a museum now. But there's stuff of her husband's and stuff, but there's hardly anything of hers because they took all her shit and they burned it. And her too, didn't they? Didn't they burn her too? Pretty sure they did. Like it was like an uprising. As damn well it should have been an uprising. So they got they got theirs. She got what she deserved, and they got their revenge because they burned her ass and all her things. And they should have. She got all of those things off of their forced labor. Sorry, bitch. And that's why she haunts the place forever, because she's stuck there. Yes, Heather, I have been there. And it was pretty, yeah, the energy there is disgusting. It's, New Orleans, there's very few places where like the energy is almost overwhelming for someone like me. And New Orleans is one of them. I love it, but I'm like almost like not there while I'm there. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like I'm not very present when I'm there because there's so much I'm feeling and there's so much going on energetically. Does that make sense? That I can't even really like have a time of my own because I'm feeling so much shit, so much energy in that city that it's, yeah, Charleston's a little better, but not by much. Savannah is also the same way. Those three cities are heavy, but I love them, and I grew up in the South, and so I'm used to feeling that energy quite a bit. But I will say there's New Orleans. Well, and New Orleans is not just, it's just a lot of different things. There's a lot of different energy there that there isn't in Charleston or Savannah. New Orleans has brackish water, which in terms of energy placement and the natural elementals of things, brackish water is intense, energy-wise, intense. And I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but trust me. Oh, Cody, I love New Orleans. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's a lot of energy, but I really like it. And what do you mean? Who that day don't be them saints? I know that shit. Come on. My old roommate was obsessed with that dude. Whatever, Tebow. God, she was obsessed with that dude, and she would be like, "Who that?" all the time. So I do know. Lauren said, I live by brackish water. Oh, great. There we go. Not Tebow. Drew Brees. Thank you. Drew Brees. Thank you. There's a song by Johnny Cash about what? Hi, Country Kid. About what? Brackish water? Or New Orleans? Wait, I did Adam Sandler? I didn't even notice it. What did I say? No, I didn't. Did I really? Oh, the who that. Oh, does he say that in Waterboy? No, that's how they say the who dat chant for the Saints team. They say it. They try to say it like Cajun. You know? Oh my God, Cody, no way. You own an Airbnb in the quarter. I'm so jealous. That's so cool. Holy shit. Do you know all the history? Can I like look up the land plots and the owners and like find out all the stuff? I'm a really good researcher. I would love. Just my voice? Oh. Okay, Scrella. Yeah, it's the Saints chant. Thank you, Swifty. And I don't even think that's a thing anymore. People told me one day that if you say who dat, you sound like an old person. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Fuck off. That's great. But I like don't know anything about sports, so I don't really care. Oh, the song's about Annie Palmer. Thank you, Country Kid. I didn't know that. I'm looking that up. Cool. Oh, thank you, Crush. Crush on YT said there is a song about her killer. Ah, I'm definitely looking that up. Yeah, Swifty. Now it's how we identify each other. Who dat? Okay, you old hey. And I love how old means like was alive 15 years ago. Because literally that's when I lived with that girl. So like, what? I hate this timeline. According to who, Skrilla? Because that's extremely subjective. Thank you, Jasmine. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself. And you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Thanks for the follow, Amanda. Welcome to the porch. Oh, you say peepaw in Louisiana, not pawpaw? Interesting, peepaw. Because I read it as pawpaw, and then I looked back and I was like, that's like not even what you typed. But did you mean to type peepaw, or is it pawpaw? Just bring a bottle of Sazerac. Oh, really? Oh. Hi, Gabriel. Gabriel said, I'm older than old then, and I promise to come back as a ghost if I can. Kim's whole ghost. Oh, thank you, Cannonball. Kim's whole goal is to become a ghost. And I really feel like she'd be a really good ghost. Yes, KJ, she was. She was the mistress of the plantation. She was the boss because she unalived all her husbands. I know you were being sarcastic. I know. Kim will be the best ghost, right? She was like, when people will be like, who is this? She'd be like, yo, mama. And I feel like I really want to, like, maybe I never thought I'd want to be a ghost, but like if Kim's a ghost, maybe I'd be down for ghosting. She said, and we'll see. Yep. Because before I was like, no, I cannot wait. I never want to be here, stuck here. But like, if Kim and I were out ghosting together, I feel like that would be fun as hell. Hi, Tania. Right? And like Kim was like, and she'd just mess with them and be like, you little bitch. And like, yeah, it would be so fun to mess with YouTube investigators who were like, what is your name? Fuckface. Like, because there's a couple times where the ghosts have said stuff where they're absolutely messing with them. Like, Kim, what are some examples that they've gotten like EVPs or the little box, the spirit box to come back, and it's like straight up like several things where you're like, okay, that ghost is straight up. And what did they say today? And I was like, that ghost is Kim. Kim's just not telling us she's a ghost. I'm only a kid. No, not like that. Like stuff like, you got, what did they say to Jeff? What did they say about what did they call Jeff? Chubby? Or they were making fun of Jeff bad. And like, oh, it's Althea called the dude ugly. Yeah. Yeah. And then the one dude said, or the one ghost told Jeff that he was creepy. He was fucking creepy or something. And so like, they called him thick. Yeah, they called him fat. Yeah. And so like Kim and I were cracking up, and like Kim and I've watched that one before already, but Kim's always like, yo mama, when they're like, who is this? Hello? Wait, she's like, yo mama. Right. So I'm like, I feel like Kim would be the best ghost of all time, because it would be the funniest shit ever. Like everything she says is funny. And I feel like they'd be like, where are we? What was this place to you? And Kim would be like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Oh yeah, when it said you should have been aborted, they said that, and Kim says that to her when she gets violations all the time. She gets pissed and she's like, they should have swallowed you and all that. And then today the ghost was like, you should have been aborted. And I was like, Kim, are you that ghost and you're not telling us? But really though, the ghosts sometimes say like, the one said like, can I come inside you? And Jeff was like, no. And Kim was like, I'm adding that to the list. When I'm a ghost, I'm gonna ask people that. So anyway, if you want to have more fun like that, join us on Kim's Live every Saturday all day for 9 hours, and during the weekdays in the evenings. Yeah, Kim's the best, dude. Yeah, it is diabolical. Well, and then they said that they were gonna, Kim, how did they word it about doing something on his chest? And they were literally like, or in his face, or whatever they said was literally, oh, Kim, will you pin yourself? People want to follow you. Her lives, we watch Paranormal Investigations, and she does commentary, and it's the funniest, most fun live ever. And today we rewatched all the funniest episodes ever, and it was all these ghosts saying like like stuff you don't usually catch from ghosts, and we were like, damn, they're roasting him. It's so fun. Yeah, you should join us. It's so fun. Kim, pin yourself, will you? Where is she? Did she leave? Was she laughing too hard? I'll be right back with the next poll, guys. Feel free to hit the oh, there she is. This is Kim. And you're welcome, because she's literally the funniest person you'll ever know in your life. I've never laughed harder at anybody in my life. She's so naturally funny. Tania, you know it's true, girl. Tania, you know it's true. We are cackling in that shit every day. Yeah, if you don't know, now you know. Exactly. We are in that mess cackling together every day. Jennifer says, I'm in. Oh my God, yay. Thanks, Cody. I'm so excited. Every day except Sunday. Hillary, who's Parker? Justin. That's why I'm like, what? Do I know any? What do you mean, Jenna? Like, can you elaborate just a little bit? Because Yeah, could you elaborate? Right, Amanda? Dream Porch. Oh, fantasy storytelling. Thank you. I don't. I do not. Do you mean like hubba hubba fantasy, or do you mean like normal fantasy? She said both. I was figuring one of my best friends is obsessed with like the Court of Thorns and Roses and all that, the hubba hubba fairy. It's like fairy porn, I swear. And she sent me one of the first book, and we're like, let's read it together. And y'all, I can't read fiction for shit. I know that's surprising because I write it basically, but mine's based off of real things and research. Does that make sense? For things that I believe to be real mostly. And like this was like, yeah, I know, Jenna. And it's everybody I know love. And I tried so hard. I even got the audiobook and I just couldn't do it. And I felt bad because she was trying so hard to connect because she lives all the way in LA. Like most of my best friends live in LA still. And so she was like trying to connect. And I was like, dude, this is, I mean, I got into it for her a little bit, but like not enough to finish the book. Do you know what I mean? Like for a while, a couple of chapters, I was like, okay, girl. All right. And then I was like, no, I'm not hating on it, Amanda. My best friend's obsessed with it. I could never hate on it. I just couldn't get into it. It's just not my thing. But I also was never, I'm not into like, I don't know. Like I never really liked I didn't like 50 Shades of Grey or anything like that either. And I feel like it's just the fairy version of that kind of. But the thing I did like about the first book, you guys, is that he gave her own like room in his castle to paint. It's very romantic. She had her own little like creative studio that like was just hers, and I loved that. But that's like yeah, Skrilla. Right. Oh, you guys were the people on YT are laughing at me for saying hubba hubba. I was trying to be not so inappropriate. All right, guys, I'm setting up the poll. If you could hit the share arrow for me. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts the live into your friends, FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And every once in a while, you can unpost and repost. That helps too. Be right back with the next poll for us to vote. Also, thank you to everybody tapping the screen, and thank you for the beautiful, cute gifts so far. By the way, you guys, I definitely got Brian, Ghostwriter House, to fall asleep. He's never been here this long, and he hasn't responded since the first story. And he's still here. Thanks, Jade. Do you see him up there? right, guys, just finishing the poll. 1 second. Thank you for the taps. All right, you guys, the poll's ready. And like last week, this is a Wendy's is a wild card. So you guys don't know what I am going to make that story, but it has nothing to do with a Sir or Wendy's. It's just it's our wild card story, okay? So we have lights, camera, bye-bye, poaching porch lore, don't panic, not just crazy lady art, and Sir, this is a Wendy's. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. And you can vote for more than one story, and you can vote up to 50 times. It is under the Stupid Universe banner. Hopefully it'll go, there we go. And you can vote for more than one story, and you can vote up to 50 times. Who's it gonna be, guys? Lights, camera, bye-bye. Poaching porch lore. Don't panic. Not just crazy lady art. And Sir, this is a Wendy's. Who's it gonna be? Brooke, I have no idea why they have it limited. Okay, spooky cabins. Have a good night. Am I live? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. Are you listening? Are your ears turned on? Brooke. Thank you, Hearts Vegas. I really appreciate it so much. Welcome. Thank you. Hey, Brooke, you missed it earlier. Someone was like, do you ever even tell stories? And you weren't here yet. And I was like, man, Brooke missed one. All right, guys, the winner is, let's see. The winner is Sir. This is a Wendy's, which is a wild card. It's a mystery story. I'll be right back. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. And welcome to the porch. And if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner? There is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts the live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends and tapping the screen all helps. And I'll be right back with the wild card story of the night. Happy Saturday. Hi, Chrissy. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, Distant. All right, guys, be right back with the story. My pick. Logo, no, I haven't yet, but I probably will when I'm traveling because I'll have a lot of extra time at the airport. All right, guys, I picked Water Babies because it never wins. It never wins. And I want to hear it. And Beefy and Jade are both here. So buckle up. We're heading to Pyramid Lake. And guess what, guys? Your girl is going here next Sunday. I'm going to this lake to check it out and see if the water babies come talk to me. Be right back. So cool, Kimchi. Cody, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a November Sagittarius. Skrilla said Beefy is the third baby in the wig. Oh my God, that's so cute. Jess, thank you. I've been really wanting to see what that looked like. Thank you so much. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the water babies of Pyramid Lake. This is a story about a lake in northern Nevada and my encounter with the water babies. Pyramid Lake sits inside the Pyramid Lake Paiute Reservation, about 40 miles northeast of Reno. It is one of the last surviving remnants of ancient Lake Lahontan, a massive inland sea that once covered Nevada during the Ice Age. When the water receded thousands of years ago, it left behind a landscape that feels almost deliberate in its geometry. Justin, we have a live one. Sharp desert ridges, pale volcanic cliffs, and these massive limestone tufa formations rising out of the lake like abandoned architecture. Thank you, Ange, Jade, and Justin. Everybody blocked that guy. Thanks. For the Northern Paiute, Pyramid Lake is not just a body of water. It's a living presence. A place where folklore and history overlap. Yeah, no money spam, asshole. And with Pyramid Lake, there's one story that appears again and again across generations. The water babies. Different elders describe them differently, and I want to be careful here because this isn't a single fixed mythology. It's a tradition passed down through families. Some say the water babies are the spirits of children lost to the lake long ago. Others describe them as beings that have always belonged there, older than any memory of human settlement. Elementals. But what almost every version agrees on is simple. Sometimes near the shoreline, you can hear crying. Not loud and not distant, just close enough that you instinctively look to see where it's coming from. And the warning that accompanies that story is always the same. If you hear them, don't follow. Pyramid Lake itself is deceptively calm, beautiful from a distance, but unpredictable in ways that don't reveal themselves right away. The shoreline drops suddenly into deep water. Underwater ledges collapse without warning. Winds often appear and turn calm water into dangerous choppy waves in minutes. It has taken people like experienced swimmers and fishermen, people who knew the lake far better than most ever will. I first came across the story of the water babies when my friend Ben, also known as Beefy, sent me a few tourism articles about Pyramid Lake and told me to look into it. Most travel guides mention Pyramid Lake for photography, the color of the water, the surreal rock formations, and the quiet, peaceful isolation. But what caught my attention were the references to something else in the visitor accounts. People hearing children crying along the shoreline. And once I mentioned a road trip to Ben and my friend Jade, they both agreed to head down from Oregon to go on the adventure with me. Hi, Gabby. We wanted to check out the lake for ourselves. We arrived early in the morning, just after sunrise, which is impressive because none of us are really morning people. But we were excited. Hi, Sam. The drive-in is long, and at a certain point, the landscape begins to flatten into open desert before the lake just suddenly appears. One moment there's nothing but dry earth and sagebrush, and the next, the entire horizon is filled with water reflecting the sky. There's no gradual transition into it, it just arrives and almost takes your breath away. We spent the morning walking sections of the shoreline, photographing the tufa formations and the patterns the water makes against the rocks. Hi, Queen Loyal. By early afternoon, we found ourselves in a quieter stretch of beach where there were no other visible visitors. We sat down on a flat stone to take a break and eat something. And as we sat there, we took a moment to look over the landscape. And I was honestly in awe of how much space there was out here. So I suggested we all savor the moment and take a deep breath in together and just appreciate being alive somewhere so beautiful. And that was when we heard it. Thank you guys. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Tracy. We heard a child crying. And it wasn't far away. It sounded like it came from somewhere along the waterline, maybe just beyond the small cluster of tufa formations. And my first reaction wasn't fear, it was concern. So we stood up and we started to follow the shoreline, looking around, expecting to see someone with a child, maybe a family further down the beach. But there was no one, no movement, no vehicles, just the lake. About 10 minutes later, we heard it again. The same sound, same clarity. But this time, it came from behind us. Thank you, Jade. We turned around immediately, but there was nothing there. Just the shoreline stretching in both directions. So, we continued walking. The shoreline began to narrow slightly as the terrain shifted into more exposed rock. The lake was still calm, almost mirror-like in places, reflecting the pale sky. And that's when Jade noticed footprints near the water's edge. Small, bare, fresh. They moved parallel to the shoreline for a short distance before just stopping abruptly. Not fading, not disappearing, just stopping. The three of us just stood there looking at the footprints. A family had to have been here, right? That was the only reasonable explanation. Children run ahead, parents lag behind. But there were no adult prints. None at all. And then the crying sound came again, and it sounded closer now. And that was when Jade pointed at movement further down the shoreline. Ben and I followed in the direction she gestured, and that's when we saw them. 3 children. At first, I just assumed their parents must be nearby. I looked around and nothing. No chairs, no towels, no vehicles, no adults. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Tracy. Thanks, Shannon. The children stood shoulder to shoulder, their backs to us, all facing out toward the lake. And then after a few moments, all 3 turned around slowly in unison until they were now facing us. Okay, that's creepy. We couldn't make out their faces from that distance, So I raised my hand in a friendly wave. None of them moved. Ben suggested that maybe they needed help, so we slowly started walking toward them. We figured maybe they were frightened kids who couldn't find their parents along the long shoreline. We had only taken about a dozen steps when the crying began again. Only now, it wasn't coming from the lake. It seemed to be coming from somewhere between us and the children. We stopped walking. They remained exactly where they were, watching us. And then the crying stopped suddenly. And then silence. And then another cry. This time, behind us. All three of us turned around instinctively, but the shoreline was empty. I remember Ben repeating, "Don't panic, don't panic." I'm not whether sure to reassure himself or us. We took a few steps backward, and then the children took one slow step towards the shore, perfectly together in unison. We stepped back again and again, and they took another synchronized step, still silent and still facing us. And then all three of us agreed that we would just slowly turn around and begin walking the way we had come, quickly. And that's when the crying returned. It echoed across the shoreline from every direction. But none of us looked back. We just kept power walking. And eventually the crying faded. And then it stopped altogether. When we finally reached the car, we turned around and the beach was empty. There were no children, no footprints, no movement, nothing along the shoreline. Just the lake, calm and quiet, exactly as it had been when we arrived that morning. We sat there in the car for several minutes before driving away. Thank you, Jess. Trying to process what had just happened to us. And I don't know what we saw that evening. I don't know if those children were real. Maybe our minds connected an old legend with an unfamiliar landscape and filled in the blanks. Or if for just a few minutes we experienced something that generations of people before us have also experienced. What I do know is this: the Northern Paiute never needed scientific proof for every mystery connected to Pyramid Lake. They lived with that landscape, they listened to it, and they respected it. And maybe that's why their stories have survived for so long. Not because they answer every question, but because they remind us that not everything exists for us to explain. Some places ask us to be curious. Others ask us to be humble. And every once in a while, if we're lucky, a place lets us leave with a mystery instead of an answer. And I think that's exactly what Pyramid Lake gave us. And that's the tale of the water babies of Pyramid Lake. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I'm here every single night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Oh, that's okay, Renee. You're so cute. What a good mom. I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote, and if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? Love you too, Jade. There is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. Thanks, Jade. Love you. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And thank you to everybody tapping the screen. Tapping helps more than you know. And I will be right back with the next poll. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Jackalope. Welcome in. Yeah, Renee, they really do help. They really do help. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready, and it is Silly Story Title Saturday. And we have, so these are not the real story titles, these are silly story titles. We have Joro, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Eric. Okay, we have, of course, Natalie, It Never Wins. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. I love that little rocket. Tracy, thanks for the cozy cryptids. Hi, Leslie. And Tracy, thanks for the cute little otter. DW, thanks for the roses. Justin, I'm silly all the time. All right, you guys, we have, ready? Down here, it's wetter. Okay? Down here, it's wetter. We have Mima said, knock you out. We have Flying Purple People Eater. We have The Price of Popularity. And we have Trying to Loosen My Load. What's it gonna be? You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. And you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. We have Down Here It's Weta. Mima said, knock you out. Flying Purple People Eater. The Price of Popularity. And Trying to Loosen My Load. Who's it gonna be, guys? Scrolla, you think every title should be your story. Justin, you're on fire with the dancer names tonight. The one you said in Kim's live was hilarious. Justin said, Loosen My Load was my dancer name at the laundromat. Okay, Lindsay would like to vote for The Price of Popularity. Jade, you missed a really good one Justin said earlier. What did he say, Kim, in yours? God, it was funny as hell. It was so funny. Lovely. You're also the same one that made the Oh Lord, She Come and be his title. So come on. Hi, Annie. I hope you had fun. I love you. Thanks for stopping in with the girls. Oh, you, Nicole, just brushed your teeth? Yes. I can't wait to see you guys next month. All right, you guys. The winner is Mima said, knock you out. Anybody have any guesses? All right. I see some good guesses. I'll be right back. It's gonna be okay. Said, I agree. Poison would be cool. Amanda, I love that movie. How did you? That's pulling out an old one. How old are you? Because that's literally like a past life movie. People never ever reference like that era. I'm blown away right now. How do you know that movie? Bravo. 51, still too young for that movie. I'm impressed. I love that movie. It's so good. You know, that was actually based off of a real, that was, oh, thanks, Justin. That was actually based off of real old women. And I believe Rhode Island or something. There's like, they were actually real people. Crazy, right? You guessed it right, Crush. Good job. Yeah, you guys were right. You guys guessed it. Five, 4? No, Cody. Add 4 inches to that. Yes, sir. 5'8". Justin, you're so funny. And yes, I did. And thank you so much, Cujo. I appreciate it. Sherry, me too. I loved that channel. Thank you, Dr. O. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Haint Blue. Thank you, Chad. The house was never supposed to be mine. When my grandmother died, nobody in the family wanted the old mountain house except me. And that surprised everyone. It surprised me too. Brooke. I hadn't been back to Black Ridge in almost 15 years. Not since I left for college. Not since I built a life somewhere louder, brighter. Somewhere without winding roads or thick woods pressing against every window. But grief does strange things. It rearranges memory. It makes old places feel magnetic. So 3 months after the funeral, I packed my car and my cat Merlin, and I drove back into the mountains. The house sat exactly where it always had, half hidden by dogwoods and hemlocks, perched on a rise overlooking a narrow valley. White siding, green shutters, an amazing wraparound porch. And that porch ceiling, blue. Brooke, he really is. He's driven to Oklahoma with me before. He's so cool. Not sky blue, not cheerful blue. A strange, almost ghostly blue in certain light. In Appalachia, it's called Haint Blue. I remembered asking my grandmother about it as a kid. Why blue? She'd never answered directly. She just said that it kept the haints out. Appalachian elders rarely explained the folklore that had woven its way into modern lives. Sometimes belief and routine fuse so completely, there really isn't a difference anymore. You painted the porch blue. You didn't whistle after dark, and you didn't answer voices from the woods. And you never invited something in unless you knew exactly what it was. I spent the first week cleaning. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Jamie. Dust everywhere, boxes, old furniture. The kind of work that exhausts your body enough to quiet your mind. At night, I'd sit with the windows open and soak in the mountain sounds. The groan of old wood as the night breeze crept through the trees. Owls, crickets, the babbling creek. It all felt familiar, comforting. Until the knocking started. It happened about a week after I got there. 3 knocks, soft behind me. I was washing dishes when I heard it coming from the porch door. I looked outside and nothing, just darkness, except for the porch light casting a warm circle across the old wooden planks. I opened the door, and a cool night breeze brushed past me. No one was there. So I shut the door and locked it, and I went to bed. The next night, the same thing. 3 knocks. This time, I didn't open the door. I just peeked through the drapes, and there was nothing outside. By the 4th night, I was officially unnerved, so I called my mom. I asked her if my grandma had ever mentioned anything weird about the house. And then she sighed and asked me if I was hearing 3 knocks. How did she know? Another pause, and then she asked me if the porch was still painted blue. I stared at the porch ceiling and confirmed that it was faded, but it was in fact still blue. What does that matter? And then my mother began to explain. My grandmother repainted that porch ceiling every spring because she said that something kept coming to her door. But she never said what that thing was. That night, I didn't sleep much. I sat in the living room with every light on. And the 3 knocks came again. And then I heard it. A woman's voice, soft, gentle, coming from outside. It was my grandmother's voice. Sweetie. My heart stopped and tears instantly filled my eyes. Sweetie, open the door. Every instinct told me not to, but my grief screamed louder than reason. I walked toward the door, my hands shaking. Her voice trembled now. My hands are cold. Tears ran down my face. It sounded exactly like her. My hand touched the lock, and then a memory came rushing back. It was me at 6 years old, sitting beside Grandma on that porch swing. Her voice low and serious. If something outside sounds like somebody you love, it ain't. I snatched my hand back from the lock. Outside, the voice stopped and a silence followed. Then slowly, the doorknob turned. Once, twice, 3 times. My blood turned to ice. It was trying to get in. The voice returned, no warmth now. It still sounded like my grandmother, but wrong. Why won't you let me in? I backed away. The wood around the door creaked with pressure, as if something was leaning against it. And then I heard scratching, slow and deliberate, like fingernails down the wood. I quietly ran upstairs and I barricaded myself in a room. The scratching continued for hours. Morning finally came and I forced myself downstairs. It was gone, but the front door had 4 long couches in the wood. I almost left that day, but then I found something in my grandmother's sewing room. A notebook, her handwriting, recipes, bills, garden notes. Then 1 page written in thick, shaky pen. Only 4 lines. It learns voices. Do not answer it. Do not invite it in. And if the blue fades, repaint immediately. My stomach dropped. I ran outside and I looked up at the porch ceiling. The blue paint was peeling and faded. Bare wood showed through in patches. So, I drove into town to buy the paint in the color that my grandmother called haint blue. The hardware store owner, an old man named Virgil, watched as I placed the paint cans on the counter. You paint your Meemaw's porch? I stared at him for a minute. Then he said, now you be sure to paint it before the night settles in. That was all he said. So I listened, and I raced home. By sunset, I was almost done. Brush strokes, fresh blue, steady hands, almost finished. And then I heard a voice behind me. My own voice. Hey, turn around. Every hair on my arm stood up. And then again, my exact voice. I said, turn around. I didn't turn around. I just kept painting, heart slamming, brush shaking. Why won't you look at me? I ignored it. I could hear the footsteps on the wood behind me. Whatever stood there stood on the porch with me. I painted faster. I only had one little section left. Just keep painting and don't turn around. As my brush made the final stroke of that magical blue paint, I heard whatever was behind me shriek. Not human, something ancient. Screaming in 100 stolen voices. And then, silence. That was years ago, and I still live there. And every spring, I repaint that porch ceiling. No exceptions. Tonight, I finished in a bit of a rush. I was running behind. Fresh haint blue, pretty good coverage, if I do say so myself. And I felt safe. Until 10 minutes ago, someone knocked 3 times. And then from the other side of the door, I heard brush strokes and fresh wet paint. And my voice chuckling while saying, "Hey, you missed a spot." And that's the tale of Haint Blue, also known as Meemaw Said Knock You Out. Brooke loves the "why won't you let me in?" It's Brooke's favorite part. Hi, sweet lady. How are you? Good night, Cody. Sweet dreams. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Thank you, Grandma Mimsy. Hi, Pittsburgh Penny. I can't believe I got Brian out on the first story and he's been sleeping in here the whole night. He goes to bed at like 10 o'clock. I'm so proud of him. Okay, Cody, cool. I'll check it. Thank you. Thanks, Link. Welcome in. Happy Saturday, everybody. I love that, Lindsay. I'm so glad that was the first story. You're so sweet. Sweet lady. Yeah, not really, but I just think it's so funny. Yes, Dr. O, hypothetically that, yeah, was because I didn't actually get it all. Also, if you're enjoying yourself, be sure to give me a follow. So if you fall off the porch, you can find us again. I also have all my stories available on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. If you just look for Porch Lore, you will find me. And I do have all of these stories in a bedtime stories playlist on my YT channel, so you can just hit like shuffle or play all and just snooze away. Thank you, Jade. Lindsay, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. I have over 100. Skeet. There's an entire list on the Discord, and I release a new story every Monday. And our lovely friend, Lovely, she updates the list on the Discord every week. And there's over 100. Fat bastard, that sounds really good, actually. And Justin just shared the Discord link right there. You can pin it if you want. You guys, Merlin's been in here the whole time snoozing. He's so cute. He snored a couple times. Cali girl, you like it? Yeah, it works, right? It's so clutch. It's so helpful to not slide into the other live. If you just go in through my picture or message it to yourself instead of it being on your feed, like through your feed in the top of your messages, that's a feed. So it goes into like the next person that you follow and the next person. Instead, just going through the person's profile, like direct link, and then you can't swipe into somebody else's. How old is Merlin? He just turned 7. I found him in 2019. He's my baby. Yeah, and you know what? You thank me, but one of the other porch pals taught me that. I just can't remember. No, he still looks like a baby though, Diana. He's just the loveliest little baby. He's the loveliest little baby. Back porch mama. Hello. I feel like we're supposed to be friends. How you doing? My name's Devin. I know, Brooke. I don't even remember who shared it with me, but I appreciate it. Ooh, Link, that sounds amazing. I do love Fruity Pebbles. I like Tricks better, but they're all good. Kristen, thanks for joining the Discord. I know, Rachel, it doesn't work for some people, and I think it might have to do with the version of TT or something, because it works for half the people. So I'm still going to tell people to do it because it works for a lot of people. Have fun, Link. Sweet dreams. Did you, Rich? Well, Link's about to have a bowl too. Yeah, no, it's not just you, Rachel. There's several people who are saying it doesn't work recently. So I think it must be a glitch because several people have said it's not working anymore. But a lot of people say it still does. So who knows? This app is literally so inconsistent that like we don't even know. Like, you know, I might be saying that and I could try it right now. Maybe it doesn't even work for me. Who knows? Hi, Holly. How you doing? Yeah, I have a love-hate with it, but perfect, Taryn. That's smart. You're so smart, Taryn. That's a good idea. All right, you guys. Guess what time it is? It's grilled cheese time. I'm good, Holly. It's time for us to go visit the Sycamore Diner. I'll be right back. Yes, Eric, I live on the edge. Marie, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Laurie, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Misty Day. By the way, any of you American Horror Story Coven fans out there might know Misty Day. She's in the house. Whoop whoop. Another legendary witch, daughter of Salem. Welcome in. Oh my God, Holly, stop. That was so cute. Puppy sleepover. Oh my God. Why is that so cute? And oh yeah, Mimsy, I forgot I did say that we would all do like a, instead of like a flash mob, we were gonna do like a across the country at the same time. I forgot I even said that. Sometimes I'm on one, dude. I'm like, what'd I say? What was it? Wait, that's a random thought. Yeah, I thought it would be so funny if we all did like a Zoom call and did like a flash mob, but instead of the flash mob, we sing. Yeah, all the way. It would be so funny. I think it would be the funniest shit. We could turn it into like a viral video and it would be like the best thing. It would be so funny. Wouldn't that be funny, Jersey Chick? Yeah. Grandma Mimsy, thank you for reminding me of that. I forgot that I randomly came up with it the other day. And somebody just told Mimsy that's a good idea. And she's so cute. She goes, I didn't come up with it. Devin mentioned it the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. Because I saw you say it, Mimsy. I was like, that's a good idea. I forgot it was my idea. Exactly, Rachel. Yep. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember like that horrible, I don't even want to get it stuck in my head, but when all the celebrities sang together and then they mashed it up, we could do that. We could do that. Hi, Barbara. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Rachel, are you kidding? Have you heard how I sing it? And just to clarify, no, that is not my real singing voice. I'm sure you guys already know that, but not my real singing voice. Oh, Misty, thank you for the adorable book. I love that one. It reminds me of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast reading. Justin, you sneaky. You and Cody. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit, trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon, a tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. Good catch, Cade. You're the first person to ask that and to catch on to that. Good job. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. Oh no, Sherry, I hope you're okay. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. "Yeah, the highway's a mess." She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth, and the vinyl creaked. And I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eye, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. "Good night, Jade, love you." I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up and I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. Thank you, Bone and Branch. The food came fast, too fast, like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with that little metal cup of ketchup on the side. Thank you, Brandy. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That was all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff, just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register, 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered. Just once, and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see, just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest, and I turned the knob. Locked, of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside, just wind and rain, and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm, and still half-eaten. Hello, Matthew. Have you been drinking? We love you, Matt. Hi. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. Same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. You shouldn't be here, honey, she said in that same cheerful voice. Not yet. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. Thank you, Matt. The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in. She raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer. Like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled, and the red booths started to fade. Thank you, Taryn. Becoming outlines. And then shadows, and then nothing. And I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, pulled up with the ceiling missing, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Thank you, Sherry. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No 2 Chainz, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site, and I found it. Rachel. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor, same red booths, same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And thank you, Porch Pals, for spending your Saturday evening with me. You could be anywhere, but you spent it here with us, the Porch Pals. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love our community. And if you aren't able to fall asleep, feel free to head on over to my YT channel where all these stories live, and you can listen to them on a playlist called Bedtime Stories, and you can just hit shuffle or play all and you'll be out by like the second story. I hope you guys get some wonderful sleep. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, same time, same place. Holly, oh my God, that's so cute. Holly, thanks. Celia, thank you so much for the taco and the heart puff. Bone and Branch, thank you so much for the clap, clap, and fingers. Brandy, thanks for the cozy cryptids. Brave Trooper, thanks for the October. Holly's here, Matt. Scroll up. He said, where's Holly? Of course, Cade, thanks for being here. Good night, Brown and Branch. Ooh, your jewelry. Jewelry. Thank you, Cade. That's so sweet. Good night, Fairy Witch. Witchy jewelry? Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to check it out. Holy moly. I'm going to check it out. I love jewelry. Tiffany. My precious. Love you, Thay. Made by witches for witches. Hell yes. I love that. Well, good night, everybody. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place. p.m. Cassie, that's what the gift's called. It's called the clap clap. She said, girl, did you just thank someone for the clap? The name of the gift is clap clap, and the other one was called Divine Fingers. Those are the two gifts. The people on YT are like, what? They're the name of two gifts, I swear. Yeah, Divine Fingers is the other one, and it looks like Spirit Fingers almost, or like a conductor. So funny. CSS, I'm so glad. Gotcha with that one. Yeah, that's the name of two of the gifts. It's so funny. Well, sleep tight, everybody. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 p.m. And don't forget, stay spooky.